What's up, y'all? People been asking me, they want to see a video of me actually making a wig. You know what? Sure, why not? So I'm doing this 4x5 lace closure for my mom. I'm gonna go surprise her with it. I got about 45 minutes to make this wig, and I'm using some Brazilian human hair. She only wanted 10-inch bundles all throughout the wig. Cool, whatever. Got my dome mesh cap, and I got my my clothing tape measure. Tape measure I use when I'm altering my clothes and all that. I'm just using this. I mean, this is just a way to do it if you want to. Just so your lines when you drawing them on the mesh cap, on the dome cap, can be even. Because some people are like, oh, it's 2 inches apart, 1 inch apart. Most hairs are 13 or 14 inches from the front to the back or whatever. This is the way I do it. Now, me, honestly, I eyeball it. I ain't really, it ain't got to be perfect. It just need to be right. Or maybe that ain't the right thing to say. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just using this cap because it's, and the good thing about it is see-through, so it's easier to do. Not only is it easy to see through, the women say their hair could breathe when you use the mesh cap. The hair gotta breathe, that scalp gotta breathe. Let it breathe. Y'all get the idea. Ooh, get up, girl. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, so like I said, it's just, that's gonna be how I look when you finish. Now you could do like 10, 8, 8.5, 7, whatever. But see me, I really prefer eyeballing. I got my white chalk pen. I got this from like Dollar Tree for the Lowski. I think it was like $1.25. And that's where I started my line at. Sometimes you could go through the cap, but I'd rather not sew through the spandex part of the cap. So I do that, and honestly, I'm really just eyeballing. I like to, I don't know, feel more like a natural type fit when I eyeball it. And I don't know, that's just what I do, man. Look, everybody got a preference. One thing about this game, this wig making game, it's a preference. You can do it how you want, as long as the finished product comes out correctly. Just like in life, live it how you want to, as long as the finished product comes out right. So yeah, one thing I forgot to do, I should have did this first. Put my lace closure on, because it's easier for me to measure the lines, and the lines come out. This is my opinion. This is the way I prefer to do it. You can do it any way you want. You could do this last if you want. It's easier for me to put the closure on and be more even, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just pinning it in the 4 corners, 2 at the bottom, 2 in the back, 2 at the top, if you want to call it that. And like I said, I like to use this head because it's gonna give me a better proportion of what I'm working with as far as the cap and everything else. You pull it down, yeah. Pull it down, yeah. And then once I get my measurements right on it, well, I'll show you later on in the. And so what I like to do is I use 5 pins, 2 at the bottom, 2 in the back, and 1 in the middle. Because I start my because I hand sew the top. Once I hand sew the top, I like to start in the middle. Because if I don't, then it usually a bunch up on me in the back, and then I got a raised lace closure in the back. So this is just me marking off the closure where it's gonna run at, because I don't want them wefts from them last little bundles to run into each other, and it gives me a better reference point of how I'm gonna run the rest of my bundles, believe it or not. I mean, and like this right here, it ain't gonna be perfect. I just need that reference point. All of this is just reference point. I'm gonna speed up just doing the rest of it. You kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. See? All right. So now I got my needle and thread because I'm gonna hand sew my lace closure on. It's the thread I use, and then I put a knot at the bottom of it, because once I run that first one through, I'm gonna run it through the thread, and that's gonna lock it in place. So see how I start in the middle? We're going through the closure, through the mesh. That's gonna be the process for the whole thing, going along the whole side. And see, this is the first one I lock in. Pull it all the way through, right there by the knot. Now I'm putting it through that part right there. See that? And that's gonna lock him in place. Now you're locked down, can't go nowhere. You're stuck. You with me forever. We in this. Yeah, all I'm doing is just tying them up. I cut that in and tie it 3 times. So yeah, same thing I did on one side, I'm gonna do the other side. Cut that extra thread off so I ain't gotta go looking and finding for looking for it later. Voila. Same thing, other side. So yeah, I think that's the hard part. Now we get to the nitty gritty using the sewing machine. Now this is the 10-inch bundle I'm using for moms. And of course I'm doing a double weft. The good thing is it already come folded. Thing with the double weft is so simple. I mean, I could do this by hand, but it's more time consuming. And all I gotta use is the zigzag pattern, number 4 on my brother machine. And I'm just connecting one track to the other, one weft to the other. So I'm gonna start by this. And once you see it in your footer on the sewing machine, it's easy to do because all I gotta do is look at one. And you know, it's a simple process. I usually start a little bit more so I could pull it through. And the one thing you gotta do is press a foot down. You gotta tighten my tension just a smidget. One thing you do, always lock it in when you're using the sewing machine. So I'm gonna go up a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. Then we go in reverse, just like that. Yeah. Just to make sure that track don't slip. Cause a slip track is not good. So I'm gonna cut this, let me show y'all what I did. Y'all can see that? Y'all can see that? Yeah. That's what we're gonna do the whole track. Gonna fast forward a little bit, cause y'all don't need to see that. Y'all get the idea. And if you miss a spot, just go back, zip, zip, secure it back in. So this is the whole thing. And I bought 3 bundles for this unit, and I really only used I ain't used that many bundles. But it's a 10-inch all the way around, so I didn't have any extra. So this is how we gonna do with the weft. Like I say, the lines I drew are just a reference point, just to make sure these are all straight and in a straight line. So I'm just matching the weft up to whatever I use. I use chalk, eyeliner. I think that's what they call it. Mascara. Is that the same thing? I don't know. I just found it in $1 store for $1. So that's white. I could use that. So yeah, that's all I did. And this same zigzag pattern. And I like the zigzag pattern because it's gonna make it more secure. Go in reverse, lock them in. Gotta lock her in. We tie it in. And like when I'm doing the cap, you don't stretch the cap. You just gotta make sure it's going on there straight. But don't stretch the cap. It might look like I'm stretching it, but I'm not, because I don't want that. I don't want the cap to be balled up, and it's gonna look like it's gonna be bunchy in certain spots. So we don't want that. So yeah, y'all don't need to see me do every one. At least I would hope not. But anyway, one thing I did at the end, and sometimes you can do it in the beginning if you want. I had to cut the mesh that was underneath. That's where the closure is. I cut underneath that because it's easy to make a straight line as I get to the top of the unit. You can do this before if you want to. I've done it like that when I was making my other ones. Just cutting it, making a space. And it's easy to pull through the sewing machine as I do the rest of my bundles. The closer I get to the closure, the more difficult it is the harder I gotta work, I should say. Like the reason I use a sewing machine because it's so easy to do. And I feel like it's a more secure fit instead of using it by hand. But I don't know, if you could do it by hand, you could use a sewing machine. I don't know, but I like to be efficient. Like this process on a sewing machine is way more efficient. Yeah, I'm just cutting the mesh from underneath the lace. So this is the last weft I'm gonna do. This is the last bundle I'm gonna do until I get to the one that's gonna attach to the closure. And I did that one. That's a single. So this one gonna be a single too, because we don't want helmet head. That's a no. That is not allowed. We don't want helmet head. So this one right here is gonna be the same zigzag pattern. Just gonna tap in, just like that. Like right there. Secure them up. Just like that. Yeah. So yeah, this is the finished thing. Now look, my closure, I had her bundled up for about a few days. So she kind of got, you know, so now I don't want to say style, I just gotta lay that hair down. Got my mousse, gotta lay that hair down. Got my mousse. Just gonna lay it down just so, you know, like I said, I'm trying to go surprise my mama right quick. She don't even know I did it. She asked me yesterday for it, like if I could make one with Tina. I said, yeah, I could do that. It took about 30, 45 minutes, something like that. And comb her through, cause you know, and what I was gonna do, I was gonna style her, but I sent this, when I showed my mama the finished product, she was like, oh, let me style it. I said, okay, that's better for me, because I don't want to do that. And I do like doing the curls. It do be kind of relaxing. Look, the hot comb, my mama gave me that hot comb. Thank you, man. I didn't even know hot combs was still a thing. Believe that? Didn't know. But I do need to lay that down and get the hair out of her face. They kind of pretty, huh? Y'all like it? Oh, big. Yeah, I'm just trying to lay them down. I ain't wash up or nothing. Usually I wash them. I ain't get to dye my knots.
And you know my little baby tender-headed, yeah. So you know I gotta work through that, but it's all good.
Yeah, so right here, I just decided to use the flat iron, because the hot comb wasn't doing what I needed it to do, and plus I was in a little time crunch. I just needed to lay them down flat, because they had a little curl to it by me having it balled up in that hairpin, that hair, whatever they call that. By me having it like that, the hair set like that when I was doing my other unit. So whatever, it is what it is.
So yeah, y'all, that's pretty much the gist of what I did. You know, look at her. She looking better, huh? I'm gonna go bring this by my mama and let her model it, put it on her head. Don't tell her I put it on YouTube though, because my mama do not like being on no camera. She do not like that. So don't tell her. Y'all gonna tell her anyway, but don't tell her. One.